Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online video with me, Sherman. And today, guys, we are going to be talking about hybrids in Murkmire. There we go. That's a good opening. But yeah, we're going to be talking about hybrids with Murkmire and where they're at. They're in a much better place than they were last update and the update before, of course, and they're going to be even better in the next two updates because we're going to have a lot more CP to use to kind of make them better, which is really what it's all about. So thanks to another YouTuber who does some really crazy PvP stuff, and he does a lot of hybrid stuff. I've been actually watching a lot of his stuff for a long time, and he kind of inspired me to create a new build this update called the Dragon's Rage, which is kind of like a hybrid DPS solo build. And I decided to put my attention towards, what could I do if I made it a DPS build? So I did. And as you guys can see, I have a 25k Magicka, 26k Stamina, 19k health, and on here you can see I'm not really high in the spell damage, 1850 and 2655, but if I buff up, oops, wrong one, I can go up to 3303 weapon damage with a 2220 spell damage. Now, what this build really looks like is like this, when it's all fully buffed up. I want to show you guys this. So this is a rotation I did a little bit earlier, and I had 2762 spell damage with a 3994 weapon damage, but I had a 5k penetration here, and then I tested it with just boosting up the spell damage over here. Not quite as good. I didn't do a full rotation, but not quite as good. I had a 33 spell damage, but I had a lot less penetration because I had to give a lot of stuff up. And the damage is not comparable because we didn't have the pin. If we had the pin, this build would be awesome. It would probably, you know, I would say easily, you could easily pull 24k or more with it. So why are we getting 24,000? That's because we are using Vulcan Scoria with the fire set, just like I have set up on the Dragon's Rage, but we're using Tooth Row here, and we are using Inner Light to give us more max Magicka and the spell crit bonus. We're using a lot of fire damage with a lot of physical damage, and the combination of the two really work out. So it's a really good setup. It's a really fun setup. It's a really fun way to play. Is it as good as, say, Reliquin and Advancing Yodokai with, like, one of those setups? Not quite as good, but it's comparable, guys. It really is comparable to that. It does do a lot of damage, and that's kind of the nice thing about it, is if you want something that's going to do damage, you have to build it to do damage. So I wanted this hybrid to work really well, so I decided to try it out with these sets, and it works really good in combination with that. So hybrids are definitely there, and they do work. It's just they will never be as good as a pure DPS because of the fact that you gotta tinker with them. You gotta maximize certain things, give up other things, kind of thing. Just like with any DPS build, you gotta make them really glassy. But this is a medium armor build, so I wanted to get the most out of it for being medium armor. You know, the 12% more weapon damage, the 12% or the 6% of the offhand weapon damage, all that stuff. I wanted to build out my spell damage, all that stuff to make it work really well. So that's the thing you have to understand about hybrids, is hybrids are a lot more complicated than playing a standard pure build. Pure builds are easy to make. Anyone can do it. But when it comes to hybrid, you have to really tinker with stuff because you got to use things that are going to give you maximized stats. They're going to give you maximize this, maximize that, and you just gotta figure it out. So, but I even have the jewelry set up like they do for most DPS. I'm running 2 infused, 1 bloodthirsty, with a spell damage, weapon damage combo here. You could go more weapon damage if you wanted to, or you could go more spell damage here. It's up to you. Either way, it works out. It's not absurd. It's not insane. But it works. You could even go sharpen on your weapons if you wanted to. instead of infused, but infused works really well, and I am using a magic damage with a magic return and a fire damage enchant because I want that greater damage capability. On the back bar I'm using a weapon damage enchant, so. And then on the setup, I'm not using full divines. If I went full divines, I would lose some stats, so I went 3 infused and then 4 divines. If I went with the other route, I would actually have more in the pin. So yeah, there's a lot of combinations, like I said, that you can go with. It's really up to the player to decide on what's going to work best for them as the individual. Now, I've also tested this with an infused fire staff on the back bar. I have a really cool combo set up for that. So on the back bar, I use Trap Beast and Wall of Elements. This works out really well, but I wind up using a lot more Magicka, and that can be bad. Oops. Want to go ahead and use that Dawnbreaker. Some Magicka back because I used too much. And there you go. You know, 18k, but really bad on the rotation. If I was doing it on a full skeleton with a full rotation, I could drop that banner at the right time, the Standard of Might, and everything. I would have got a lot more out of it. So as you can see here, I was still getting that 2,762, and then 3,994 here. 57% weapon crit wasn't too bad. I crit 52% of the time, 43 there, so I wasn't doing too bad there. But if you look here, my fire damage was hitting pretty good. My blockade of fire was doing really well. Vulcan Scoria was hitting a lot. Rending Slashes did better. Absorb Magica was doing better. The Way of Fire was doing better here. Burning Embers compared to this over here. Oops. There we go. 20k. That was wrong one. There's that. There's this. So this one here, you know, I had greater weapon, but I was doing more in Endless Hail. It works out to about the same. I mean, either way you go, staff or bow. And when tested with a tank, I was getting up to 24k DPS. And to be honest, in trials, 24k DPS is more than viable for end game, guys. 24 K DPS 24 to 34 is good for trials in game, and somebody with really experienced rotations, really good on the playstyle, could probably pull a lot more than I can. And we're talking they probably get 24 to 34k easy. So hybrids are there, and it's not just DKs. Nightblade hybrids are really good. Sork hybrids are really good. Warden hybrids are pretty good, but you have to tinker with a lot of stuff. But they work out really well. And then also, not just them, but also the let's see, Templar hybrids are pretty good. Templar hybrids are a lot different. They're not quite as spec'd out as a DK hybrid or anyone else. They make good hybrids, but they don't get major brutality, major sorcery from a skill like all the other classes do. Now, if they had that ability to where they get that major brutality, major sorcery, and they could get the high crit, high, you know, whatever, you could do it really well. Medium armor is by far the best for hybrids. Light armor hybrids work, but they're not as powerful. You can still get good damage out of them and everything, but it's kind of funky how you have to set them up, and they really only work with 2 classes in the game, 3 if you count the Warden, but then you have to set it up in a weird way. But they do work, because you have to keep Northern Wind on both bars. And then with the Nightblade, they get 8% max magic already. So there's certain build, like, things that do work. The best race for hybrids will always be Dark Elf. The other races do work. They just don't give you as much in stats and stuff. Like somebody said, well, Imperial would work, wouldn't it? Because you get the extra health and stamina. You end up with a lot more health, and that allows you to put into other stats, yes, but you still won't have the same pool as what you do with the Dark Elf for a hybrid. So, because they get 9% max magic at 8% or 6% stam. So, and it is, if you're going to go hybrid, it's definitely better to build for more magicka if you're going for more of a magicka build than stamina. But if you're going for more of a stamina build, you want to go for more stamina, a little bit less magicka kind of thing, and that's what this was originally designed as. That's why my stats were set up the way they are. So, but using proc sets, I have found that you can pull a lot more with a hybrid than you can with a with the other stuff. So, and you can use Trap Beast with this instead of Poison Injection, but Poison Injection just gives you a little bit more damage. Trap Beast, I forget what it was I needed to do. Really? Sorry guys, my bad there. Oh my god, I hate that one button keypad sometimes. And that and Trap Beast just costs way more, so, and it's hard to time. Like, it's not hard to time, it's just hard to keep up with that kind of rotation because you're not using poison injection right afterwards. So, not quite as good, but it still works out. It gives you a little bit more critical damage on it. I gotta wait for this to finish up, and then I'll show you. But that's about it. It gives you a little bit more critical damage when it does crit. But it ends up being about the same, but... like I said, it varies. It depends on the user. I prefer poison injection with this build. I think it works out a lot better. But yes, hybrids are a viable playstyle. They're just not as good, honestly, as a pure build. They never will be. But there are a lot of people who like hybrid play, and that's what it's all about, is finding what you like to play and making it work. So hybrids are really, really there for those who want to play them. You just need to know the right setup, what gear sets you want to use, what kind of play style you're looking for, and there is a lot of ways to, like, again, to set it up if you want. So I mean, you put Trap Beast on any staff user, like dual wield staff user, you're going to get a decent amount of damage out of it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So, guys. Hybrids, yes, they're viable. Are they optimal for in-game? No, they're not. But they still are viable for in-game. If you have a guild that's not too like, oh, we got to get top leaderboards, we're just looking to beat the content, kind of thing. If you're a skilled hybrid player, yes, you can do in-game content and be just as good as everyone else in the group at bringing what you do to the table. So there's a lot of things you can do, which is really good. But if they're looking for more purebred and more, in-game, true in-game, if you will, dungeon trial run people, and they want that pure thing, then you kind of have to go with that. But hybrids are viable. They are 100% viable for in-game and this, so. But yeah, so I want to give a shout out to Christopher ESO. Thank you, man. You've given me so much inspiration to work towards making hybrids a thing in PvE, and every time I see one of your builds, I try to make it PvE viable, and usually I come up with a pretty good setup and a very good like way to make it work. So, but yeah, that's it, guys, for this video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, you know what you need to do. Hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can always hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you guys can be notified when I post stuff. Here pretty soon I will be starting to use the YouTube Premiere thing, which is going to be like when there's a special build I might make, I might premiere it so I can sit and watch it with you guys, and you guys can be like, wow, dude, this is awesome, this is cool. There will be a schedule date of when it'll launch. It'll show up on through notifications. That's why I want you to start using that if you do. So it'll be really cool. But other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and this guy might see you in game. Bye.